There are some faces you never forget, no matter how many years pass. I just never thought I'd see his face again. I'm 99 years old, and for most of my life, I believe certain feelings had an ending. I thought if you stayed committed long enough, built a life properly, did everything the right way, the past would settle somewhere far behind you, quiet, finished, something that wouldn't return. I was wrong. It happened on an ordinary afternoon, nothing special about the day. I wasn't looking for anything. At this age, you don't expect life to surprise you. You think you've already seen what matters. I was sitting in a waiting room, people coming and going, no one really paying attention to anyone else. I looked up for no reason, just a small movement, and there he was, standing near the door, older of course. Time had done its work on both of us, but something about him hadn't changed. The way he stood, calm without trying, like he didn't need to be noticed for his presence to be felt. And I knew immediately. Not a question, not confusion, recognition. 46 years of marriage, a full life, children, responsibilities, routines that made sense. None of that disappeared in that moment, but something else came forward. Something I had placed far behind me without realizing it had never fully left. He saw me too. There was no hesitation in his eyes, no searching. He knew. For a moment, we just looked at each other, not like strangers meeting again, but like the years between us had quietly stepped aside. He walked toward me and asked, "Is it really you?" His voice had changed, but not enough. I nodded because I couldn't trust my voice to carry everything at once. He sat across from me, close enough to feel real, but not close enough to disturb anything that had been built over the years. "I didn't think I'd ever see you again," he said. I almost smiled because I had thought about it before. Not often, not in a way that shaped my life, but enough to know he had never completely disappeared from it. We didn't rush into questions. That's what stayed with me. No asking where we had been, no revisiting what had happened. Just a quiet understanding that didn't need explanation. I had been married for 46 years, a steady life, a real one. He knew that without me saying it. And I could see in him that he had lived his own life too. It was there in the way he spoke, in the pauses between his words. We weren't there to change anything. That's what people misunderstand. Moments like this are not about starting over. They are about seeing clearly. We spoke about small things, where life had taken us, how the years had passed, but none of that felt important. What mattered was what didn't need to be said. There was an ease in that moment I hadn't felt in a long time. Not the kind that comes from routine, but the kind that comes from being understood without effort. I didn't realize how rare that was until I felt it again. At one point, everything around us faded in the way it does when something truly matters. Not physically, just in your attention. And I saw it clearly then. The life I had lived and the life I hadn't, not as regret, not as longing, just as truth. Two paths, both real. "I used to wonder about you," he said. I looked at him and said, "I did too." That was enough. No explanations, no details, just acknowledgement. At 99, you don't hold on to moments like this the way you would when you're younger. You don't ask what if. You don't try to turn it into something more. You just let it be what it is. After some time, he stood up. "I'm glad I saw you," he said. I nodded. "So am I." No promises, no plans, no attempt to continue anything, because we both understood something without saying it. This wasn't about continuing. It was about completing something that had stayed unfinished for too long. He walked away quietly, the same way he had once entered my life. And I stayed there in that same chair, but something inside me had shifted. Not my life, my understanding of it. I had lived 46 years of marriage, a full life, a meaningful one. But that didn't erase what came before, and seeing him again didn't undo what came after. It simply connected something I had kept separate. If you're listening to me, I won't tell you to hold on to the past, but I will say this. Some connections don't belong to time. They don't fade the way everything else does. They become quiet, and then one day, without warning, they stand in front of you again. And when they do, you don't question them. You recognize them. I'm 99 now, and I understand something simple. Not everything that ends is gone. Some things just wait long enough for you to see them clearly. And when you finally do, you don't need to hold on to them. You just understand them, and that is enough. I didn't tell anyone about him after that. Not my children, not my grandchildren, not even myself, in a way that turned it into a story. I just carried the moment quietly. Life went on the same as it always had. I woke up at the same time, sat in the same chair, moved through the same slow rhythm of the day. Nothing outside had changed, but inside, something had settled. Not excitement, not confusion, something steadier than both. For years, there had been a quiet question in the background of my life, not loud enough to disturb anything, not strong enough to demand attention, but always there. What if things had gone differently? What if I had chosen another path? What if I had stayed where I once felt something I couldn't explain? I never chased those thoughts. I built a life instead, a real one, a full one, and I don't regret that. But that question, it never fully disappeared until that day. Seeing him again didn't bring the question back. It ended it. That's what surprised me the most. I always thought closure would come from answers, from conversations, from understanding why things happened the way they did, but it didn't. It came from seeing clearly. He wasn't the life I lost. He was a part of me I never fully understood. And when I saw him again, I didn't see a future. I didn't see something missing. I saw exactly what it was, and that was enough. I thought about my marriage differently after that, not with doubt, not with comparison, with honesty. I had lived 46 years beside someone. There was respect, stability, a shared rhythm that made life manageable and steady. We built something real together. But there were moments, even in those years, where I felt slightly outside of myself. Not unhappy, just not fully present. At the time, I told myself that was normal, that no one is fully present all the time. Now I see it differently. There are parts of you that only show up in certain spaces, with certain people, in certain kinds of connection, and if those parts never find a place, they don't disappear. They just stay quiet. Seeing him again didn't create something new. It revealed something that had always been there, a kind of ease I hadn't named before, a kind of understanding that didn't need effort. And I realized something I wish I had understood much earlier. Not every connection is meant to become a life, and not every life contains every connection. We think we have to choose one path that holds everything: love, understanding, ease, stability, meaning. But life doesn't work like that. Some things exist only as moments, and those moments can still matter, even if they don't last. After that day, I stopped looking backward, not because I forced myself to, because there was nothing left to search for. The past didn't feel unfinished anymore. It felt placed exactly where it belonged. I remember sitting alone one evening, a few days after seeing him. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet I had lived with for years, and I noticed something. I wasn't trying to hold on to that meeting. I wasn't replaying it the way I expected I would. I was at peace with it. That's how I knew it was complete. At 99, you don't need more time to understand something. Sometimes you just need one moment where everything becomes clear. If you're listening to me, I won't tell you to go looking for people from your past, and I won't tell you to ignore what you feel either. But I will tell you this: not everything important in your life is meant to stay. Some things are meant to return once, just long enough for you to understand them. And when they do, you don't need to chase them. You don't need to hold on to them. You just need to see them clearly. I'm 99 now, and I don't think about him as someone I lost. I think of him as someone who showed me a part of myself I didn't recognize at the time. And when I finally did, there was nothing left unfinished, just something understood. And that is enough. After that, I stopped thinking about him in the way people expect, not as a memory I needed to hold on to, not as something I had lost, just as something I had finally understood. That's different, because for most of my life, anything unfinished stays with you in a certain way. It follows you quietly, not enough to disturb your days, but enough to sit somewhere in the background. You don't notice it all the time, but it's there. That's what he had been for me. Not a person I missed every day. Not a life I wished I had lived, just a feeling I never fully placed. And when I saw him again, that feeling didn't grow. It settled. That's the word I keep coming back to. Settled. I started noticing other things after that. Small things. The way I sat in silence without needing to fill it, the way I stopped going back over old memories, trying to understand them differently, the way my thoughts became simpler, not empty, just clear. At 99, you don't need complexity. You don't need to hold multiple versions of your life in your head. You just need to understand the one you lived. And for the first time, I felt like I did. I thought about my younger self a lot after that, not with regret, with a kind of quiet recognition. She didn't know everything. She didn't see everything clearly, but she moved forward anyway. She chose a life that made sense, and she lived it fully. That matters. We always think we need to get everything right at the beginning, that we need to choose the perfect path, but that's not how life works. You choose something and then you live it. And sometimes understanding comes much later. That doesn't make the life wrong. It just makes it human. I realized something else too. We often think closure means getting answers, but it doesn't. Closure is when the question stops, when you no longer feel the need to go back, when you no longer feel like something is missing. That's what that moment gave me. Not answers, an ending, a quiet one, the kind that doesn't need to be spoken. After that, I didn't expect to see him again, and I didn't need to. That part of my life didn't feel open anymore. It didn't feel like something waiting to happen. It felt complete. That's rare. Most things don't feel that way. Most things stay a little unfinished. But when something does settle like that, you recognize it immediately. There's no pull, no curiosity left behind it, just stillness. If you're listening to me, I won't tell you that every part of your life will make sense one day. Some things won't. Some things will stay unclear. But some things, if you're patient enough, if you let them be what they are without forcing them, will return to you in a way that finally makes them understandable, not through effort, through time. I'm 99 now. I don't have many years left to think about these things, but I don't need them, because the things that once felt unfinished don't feel that way anymore. And that's enough. Not everything in life needs to last forever to matter. Some things only need one moment, after many years, to show you exactly what they were. And once you see it, you don't need anything else. You don't need more time. You don't need another meeting. You don't even need to hold on to it. You just let it rest. I met my first love after 46 years of marriage, and what I thought would reopen something actually closed it. Not with loss, not with longing, with understanding. And at the end of a long life, That's the only thing that truly stays.